Half-Life 2, one of the best games ever made. It also has one of the best starting missions of any game I could think of. You know, going from loading up into the train, going through this dilapidated, and seeing how all society has been enslaved by the Combine. Who even are the Combine? You start to question these things, and then suddenly you open the door after getting an earful of this madman. You finally see this. Although that looks a little different. This is the S-Treesway mod for the Half-Life 2 skybox buildings. One of the most specific kind of mods ever. It's also going to be a very short mod, but it pretty much turns the skybox buildings into trees that could be manipulated by the wind. Now, at first glance, it's like we're in some kind of crazy Toontown or something. Well, that or we just took a whole bunch of drugs. But I think we can all agree this is definitely a strange looking predicament we got here. Now, obviously it does not affect gameplay. In fact, I do want to go take a look and see what it actually looks like here. So, yep, the buildings are dancing. And yes, someone made a mod for this. And I don't know why I'm showcasing it. And by the way, this map is extremely cool. It's multiple Half-Life 2 levels combined together into one giant map. And someone decided to bring it into Garry's mod. But also check this out. We don't have the APCs here. Oh my god. Yeah, we're just gonna try to ignore the cursed buildings in the background. But right here, we can actually go all the way out into the street, which is pretty cool. I don't think you can normally come here. We can see that the electricity posts here are kind of freaking out from the wind as well, which we are going to get to, by the way, because you can manipulate this in some ways. But also check this out. You can go into buildings that you normally couldn't go out from. Like I remember the apartment building, normally you come here, the bike obviously a classic, and I believe this is always locked, but now we can come through and it feels like we're out of bounds, but this is perfectly fine. In fact, up here is where we scale the rooftops into the area where we meet Alex, but now we can go even over here. Like normally you can't even come down here, so this is kind of freaking me out. But of course, we're not here to talk about this map. We're here to talk about what's happening outside of the map. And of course, that is all this weird stuff, which by the way, we're going to take a look at a few maps just to see how weird it can really get. But I think before we go into all that, let's make it really simple. Without this tool here, you are not going to get a lot, because that's what's controlling the wind. Alright, so I thought that deleting that would help, but it did not. So let's go back to City 17, and you're going to notice that nothing changed. So how do we change the wind? And thankfully there's a mod that is going to be really handy for this, and that is the Wind Editor mod, which I'll put down below, of course, with everything. Now naturally spawning this in, you know, we can point the direction, of course, but this isn't really going to help us. In fact, look at that. Everything is just calmed down all of a sudden. You could barely see some movement, but it definitely is still there. Anyway, if you want to really get to the nitty and gritty, go ahead and edit the properties, and now we can adjust the maximum and the minimum wind. So if we go ahead and do like 0, 0, let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Oddly enough, we have even more activity, so let's go ahead and crank it all the way up and see what this looks like. Yeah! Now those things are really getting their groove on. And this is extraordinarily disturbing. I don't know why we're doing this. Like, look, these buildings are clipping through, kinda. In fact, I want to see if they do eventually clip through, because they are just bending in ways I didn't know a building could move. It's funny, because like, at first I thought this was going to be like a really cursed video, but there's something kind of nice about this. Like, I don't know what it is, but it's like the buildings are just having a good time. Alright, so we changed maps, and I don't know about you guys, but I am sick of hearing Dr. Breen talk. What about Construct? Can Construct work? Yes. Construct does indeed work. In fact, I might never take this mod off, because there's just something so nice about this. I thought I was going to be freaked out about it, and I'm going to be honest, I was at first, but it's kind of grown on me now. I feel like the buildings are moving with joy, and it kind of just gives me motivation to do a video. But of course, this is not nearly strong enough for me, so we're going to go ahead and spawn in this. We can see immediately, the second we spawn it, they really calm down. So this is going to be a perfect tool to help us kind of manipulate what we want. Let's do 17. This should theoretically be the most minimal we could get it. But for some reason, they're moving more than they did. Alright, none of this really makes any sense. Oh, maximum gust. Can we like lower this? Alright, there we go. Wow. Just screeched to an absolute halt. Now we're gonna go even further with this. It looks like the divide between these two is kind of what dictates the craziness. So now, I mean, if you didn't have a super keen eye, you might not notice that the buildings are moving. But now, I gotta be honest, it's really fucking with my eyes. So if someone didn't notice this right away, they might think that they're seeing things because there's just enough movement to make you think you see something, but not enough to make you realize the whole buildings are freaking moving. Alright, so I did mess around with the settings a bit, and I don't know if we can get any crazier than this. I mean, it's already kind of tripping me out seeing the buildings get so close, but not quite entering the play area. This is when I would consider it distracting and mildly disturbing. But again, you know, if you were to just crank it down a little bit, by a little bit I mean like a hell of a lot, I mean, just seeing them bounce around like that, it's kind of cool. I dig it. Now, sadly, it's not always going to work on every map. In particular, maps that do not have buildings. Like we can see here, we have flat grass. There's no buildings on flat grass, so it's safe to say we're not gonna get the rolling hills to actually roll today. But hey, an apartment in Ohio, now that is completely fair game. By the way, guys, this is one of the craziest maps I've ever seen, and it reminds me of the abstract maps that we've seen before, and I really want to do an entire video on this map. So if you want to see that video, please let me know down below and leave a like to let me know that you do like stuff like this. But yeah, the buildings back here, they are definitely moving and grooving, but also this building is moving and grooving, because that's right, this is part of the skybox way up there. But that's pretty much going to be it, guys. I'm not going to make this go on any longer. I am actually hyped to see what this is about. When I do the video, it'll be a first time run, so it'll be the first time I ever go through this map. So I'm going to wait for you guys. As always, leave a like and subscribe. Links will be in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.